Hey everyone, as you can see, we are no longer at the vet hospital. We're in the car. Actually, Bruce made it home, so I will put a little video of him right here. Brucey, hi, you say hi to all your fans? All your TikTok fans? So I'm sure you're all wondering how this happened. We noticed that earlier, I guess I should say late last week, Bruce was just acting really strange. We noticed that he kind of got a little shorter breath on a walk that he normally wouldn't. And so we just thought maybe it was because it was more of an inclined walk than we are used to. He threw up once on Wednesday. We thought maybe he'd eaten some grass. Vomiting is one of the things that our cardiologist has us watch for, but he was acting normal after that and only had the one episode. So we really didn't think much of it. He wasn't having diarrhea. That's another thing they have us watch for. His respirations were good. That's another thing we watched for. And his overall activity level was fine. He didn't seem fatigued and wasn't having any other shortness of breath besides that one single walk. And so we really didn't think much of it until Saturday evening. His dad had texted me while I was at work and said that he was kind of acting off, and when I got home he just didn't seem really interested in food, which is unusual for him. We usually don't have a problem getting him to eat, and so he had been really uninterested in food, was still drinking, and we did get him to eat some like plain rice and some ground beef mixed together. He ate that up, so we thought maybe his tummy was just a little upset. But we kept an eye on him, and then when Bruce chooses not to sleep with us, he sleeps in the downstairs living room, and that's what he was doing that night. And so when he does that, we set alarms to wake up to take him out to go potty, because he's on so many diuretics to make him pee because of his heart. And so I had a alarm set for 2 in the morning, because he goes usually at 10 p.m. We'll take him out, and then 2 a.m. and then 6 a.m. And when I got up at 2 a.m. to let him out, he had vomited everywhere. And when I took him out, he just wasn't really interested in doing much. Like, he went out and peed, and then he came inside, drank a little bit of water, and lay down by the water bowls. And then at 6 a.m. when we got up to let him out again, he was still laying by the water bowls, which isn't like him. Usually when he hears us coming down the stairs, he meets us at the stairs. He usually like comes to us when we call for him, and he wasn't doing that. So we waited a little bit to see if he'd perk up, and by a little bit I mean like an hour. And around 7:30 that morning, I ended up so this would have been Sunday morning now. At about 7:30 Sunday morning, I ended up calling the cardiology office, who said to bring him in. So again, respirations were fine. He's vomited twice in a week, which again, not super exciting. He's not having diarrhea. He's not having regular shortness of breath. He wasn't having shortness of breath with any other activities. Like, he just was having some weird behavior and had thrown up twice. But we thought it was strange, and they said definitely bring him in, so we did. And when we got there, the ER doc that looked at him said, I think this might be his heart based off of his assessment, but our cardiologist is out for the week. We could try to work him up here and see if we can confirm it's his heart, or we could have you try a different vet hospital in the hopes that they would admit him and a cardiologist would see him Monday, the next day. We really like our vet hospital and specialty vet clinic that we go to. If you have a Blue Pearl in your area, shout out to them, because we love ours. And so we decided to have them go ahead and work him up and see if they could do anything. And if they didn't have anything that they thought they could do without their cardiologist available, then we would try to transition to a different hospital if we needed to. So he did the full workup on Bruce, and did x-rays, ultrasound, labs, and labs obviously weren't back immediately, but the x-ray he could interpret and the ultrasound he could interpret. And he said on the x-ray that Bruce had fluid around his lungs, not in his lungs, and usually with heart failure you see it in their lungs. So that made him think that it was end stages heart failure. And again, on his initial assessment, he thought it was his heart, but he didn't hear anything that sounded like fluid overload, but there was fluid on the imaging. So we got got confirmation it was his heart that was doing it. And with him suspecting it was end stages, he recommended that they did have an internal medicine vet that could do an echo Monday, the next day. And that's what we opted for. Was to admit him overnight for the echo in the morning. He did call me later that night and say, Sunday night, after I'd already posted the initial video for you guys to look at, and so that Bruce's kidney function, which is something we monitor closely because he's on a lot of Lasix, but that his kidney function had took a steep decline. It was double what it was when we checked it a month ago. And so that was indicating that his kidneys were likely failing too. So now not only was his heart failing, but his kidneys were failing. Sorry, Bruno just stole my shoe. I will be right back. Okay, sorry. So not only was his heart failing, his kidneys were failing. And at that point, Bruce's dad, who wasn't able to drive up with me initially due to his class and work schedule, was able to drive up, and we visited with Bruce at the hospital, and we really were truly preparing for the worst, because at this point he's in multi-organ failure, and you don't typically come back from that. And even though Bruce is a miracle, and I told that vet this, Bruce shouldn't be alive, even before this, and I told him that as well. I was like, you know, Bruce hasn't already survived heart failure once, and not only did he survive it, he's lived longer than than our cardiologist said he's seen any other dog do. He said he's never seen a dog have an episode of heart failure and live more than a year afterwards. And Bruce had an episode of heart failure when he was 6 months old, and he is now 2 years and 4 months old. And he's also never seen a dog with severe left-sided heart problems live long enough to develop right-sided heart problems, and Bruce has both. So, you know, Bruce shouldn't be here in the first place. Like, Bruce is already a miracle. And so then when we found out that he was in multi-organ failure, we thought for sure that this is it. And we, you know, stayed at my cousin's house. Again, we were 3 hours away from our home. We had someone that could dog sit the other dogs. So we stayed at my cousin's house overnight, went back in the morning, didn't have any really new news. Went out to distract ourselves, because we didn't want to be in their way, and came back later during visiting hours the same day, Monday afternoon, and they said, hey, do you want to do this echo? We haven't done it yet, but if you don't want to pay for it, we understand. I said, no, we really want you to do it so we know what we're dealing with. And we assumed they were going to recheck his labs just to see if he was trending in the right or the wrong direction so that we could make decisions, and we were prepared to likely have to make some pretty hard decisions. And honestly figured that we were going to end up having to make a decision as to if we could do palliative care and bring him home, or if it was going to be a matter of he was so sick that we needed to just let him go. But we were prepared for that because we thought that's where he was with how we left him the night before, and that morning even. And they had gotten him eating and drinking again, and they said he was going potty really well, and his Bruce has always had an arrhythmia, so he was in his normal heart rhythm and heart rate again, which he hadn't been the night before. He had been, you know, being a little criticarous, as we like to say. And so they said, well, hey, while you're here, we actually think we might be able to send him home with you and just increase his meds, and like he's doing better, which we were not prepared for. But they decided to go ahead and do the echo while we were there for that part of the visiting hours, and the doctor came in afterwards and said that the fluid was all gone. And not only was the fluid gone off of around his lungs, but his kidney numbers were going back down towards a normal range, and we're actually pretty close to a normal range again. And they thought that we could just take him home and increase his meds and follow up with cardiology next week. So, I mean, he's not 100%. He's not back to the way he was, but he's better, and he's home. And at this point, that's all we can, that's all we can do. And we're so thankful that he even got to come home and that we have any more time with him at all, because we didn't think we were going to get time with him like this. And he is slowly improving, and he's doing more things that are just who Bruce is, like going up to the sink and wanting us to fill his water bowl again. And I've never been more happy to fill a water bowl in my life. But he's home. And if you don't believe in God and don't believe in miracles after hearing Bruce's story, I don't know what to tell you, because he is proof that prayer works, and he is proof that there is a God, and he is proof that God performs miracles on a daily basis, because I have never in my life, as someone who works in human healthcare, seen a person come out of multi-organ failure in less than 24 hours, let alone a dog that isn't supposed to be here in the first place come out of multi-organ failure in such a short time frame. Are you done whining, Bruno? Listen, your brother's home. You should be happy, not whining. So we just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has prayed for him, and we will just keep everyone updated about our little miracle dogs, because that is truly what they are.